Hi, Johnny here for Johnny's Car Care and Advice. So today I'm going to be reviewing what we've done with a spray wax. So this was done a month ago, and what I just recently did this week inside when it wasn't sunny with ceramic sealant. So this ceramic wax, it's supposed to be ceramic nanotechnology. It's a sealant, so it's really made to give you a good cover on your paint, protect you from UV rays, dirt, grime. So I'm going to be showing you how to apply it. And then at the end of this segment, I'm also going to be showing you the results that I've had, because right now this has already been applied because I already used the F1 wax with carnaube wax. So carnaube wax was great at helping me hide some of the scratches in my clear coat. So the clear coat is just your clear covering over your paint. So I had a few scratches in the clear coat, and it did a great job at covering them for a wax, that is. Of course, a compound would have been better at hiding those scratches, but a compound wears down a bit of your clear coat, and you can only do it a certain number of times in the life of your paint. So today, we're really going to be showing you how to use a nano ceramic wax or sealant, and I'm also going to be reviewing my overall impressions of the F1 wax. So let's go ahead and do that. So as always, before waxing, you're going to want to do a fantastic wash on the car. So today we've gone ahead and we've washed the car. We did a contactless wash, and even with the nanotechnology, it still didn't get all the dirt off. So I had to use a mitt wash. So I'm still looking for a product that's going to allow me to just power wash my car, then add the soap through my power washer, my pressure washer, and then just rinse off. For me, that's ideally what I'm looking for. I want to have contactless washes with my car that leave me with a showroom shine and show car ready clean. So anytime you're waxing, of course, as always, you're going to rip off any tags you have on your mitts, on your microfiber towels, because these can scratch. Take off any jewelry you might have, rings, watches, and you need 2 of these. I've inspected them. They're perfectly clean. They're actually new. And you're going to have one that's going to be your applicator. So for your applicator, what you're going to do with a ceramic detail spray or ceramic wax or sealant is on your one microfiber towel. You're going to want to get this nice and wet. Make sure your product is mixed up. You're going to want to spray that. Now, of course, you can be wearing plastic gloves, latex gloves when you do this. I'm just doing my best not to put any on my skin. And how you apply it is you're going to rub it down the paint. You're going to apply it in one direction. Get that a little wetter. Apply it in one direction, and you're going to want to see, with the paint being wet, that it has been applied everywhere. Then you're going to add a little more on, and you're going to go in the opposite direction. All the way over what you've already covered, going up and down. Now, once you've gone both up and down, and then left and right, once you've made that crisscross pattern, you're going to take your second microfiber towel, and your second microfiber towel needs to also be clean, dry, and you're just going to take that off. Now, I'm not applying too much pressure, because anytime you apply pressure to the clear coat, you run the risk of scratching it. Of course, I've reduced the risk greatly by having microfiber towels. You're just removing the product. And you'll see when you removed it, you don't want to press very hard, press very lightly. It's a light buff. And when it no longer looks wet, you've applied your sealant. As easy as that. So here with any wax, whether it's ceramic, nano ceramic, wax or sealant, or you're using a spray wax or a liquid wax, what you're going to want to do is little sections at a time. That's because you don't want it drying on and caking on. Once it's caked on, then you really have to apply some pressure or do a lot of buffing to get it off. You have to put a lot of work into it, and there's a possibility that you'll get carried away and you'll put too much weight onto your paint. Vehicles these days dent easily. They're not the vehicles made in the 1960s with extremely thick metal and extremely heavy cars. So you're just applying it on lightly in one direction, doing squares that will be about 2 by 2 or 3 feet by 3 feet. Really whatever you can cover in the matter of a minute or two. Now usually you never want to do this in the sun. However, this particular product called Shine It, in the instructions, I looked into it, doesn't say anything about not doing it in the sun, so I'm just doing a little section for this demonstration. But when I did apply it, I did actually apply it in a garage to make sure there'd be no sun on it. So I hope this was helpful, and I hope that you try it out. So I've applied a nano ceramic wax and just did a contactless wash. And I applied a nano ceramic wax, hoping that when I do wash contactless, that all the dirt would just bead off. And I'm not sure if you can see it here. This car is still dirty. So despite doing a nano ceramic wax, it's still dirty. I did that nano ceramic wax 4 days ago, and it had been 1 month since I've done a spray wax. And the nano ceramic wax does not allow me to do a contactless wash if I want my car perfectly clean and looking showroom. I still have to wash with a mitt. So still looking for the solution that I no longer have to wash with a mitt, because I don't like the idea of putting contact on the paint. Always a risk of scratching the clear coat. Also, the nano ceramic wax does not cover up scratches. I'd say contrary to a regular wax, it almost makes the scratches pop out more. So right here, got that scratch I had before. I'd used a really good spray wax, and it had mostly hidden them. Had done a decent job of hiding them. You can really see the dirt here. And you can see those scratches. So, still looking for a solution. So because the nano ceramic wax did not fully function the way I wanted it to, really wanted to just be able to do a contactless wash with the pressure washer. That's when you have the soap shoot out of your pressure washer and then you rinse it off. So there is still dirt, so I've had to go ahead with using the mitt. That's a contact wash. So with the contact wash, the only real downside is if your mitt has any dirt whatsoever while you're applying pressure. And obviously you want to be applying as little pressure as possible to the vehicle, because the clear coat is rather fragile. It's susceptible to scratches if you have any sand, dirt, or grime in your mitt. So change your mitts often, wash them often. I've got my 2 mitts. So I've got the mag mitt right here that I'll only ever use on the mags because it tends to get dirtier. And I've got my car mitt, which I've made sure is perfectly clean. 2 different color bands, so I never get them mixed up. And time to rinse off. So one thing I do really like about the nano ceramic is you can see this water just coming right off the paint. It's beading right off. It's actually beading off in a big, huge sheet of water. So it just shoots right off the paint. Did a half decent job of doing the same for dirt. Of course, I did drive through, spent about an hour in a rainstorm, so the roads were quite filthy, and only the bottom of the car really had dirt on it. So where the water could beat off easily, it's beat it off most of the dirt. So it's pretty good. The nano ceramic, I'd say, was pretty easy to apply. It was just as easy as the spray wax. So you just see that beating right off. Water is not, this isn't going to leave water spots, or very little in regards to water spots. Just rinsed off the vehicle. And I had done a test, it's been 1 month, and I'd done a test with the spray wax. And the spray wax test that I did is that I actually waxed all the windows on the vehicle, and I spray waxed the mirrors, and I did not wipe the wax off this mirror. I want to see how many pressure washes it would survive, and there's actually no wax left on this mirror. It was actually quite thick before, and I almost actually had a bit of trouble seeing out of this mirror because the wax was so thick. It kind of had like a glaze, a thick waxy glaze, whitish in color. And I've now washed the car, pressure washed the car 6 times, and there's none of that wax left. I had never wiped it off, I'd never removed it, and just naturally from the pressure washes, I can tell that at 4 pressure washes, it was starting to come off. So it lasted 2 weeks, and now it's been a month, and it hasn't really been any wax on here, other than you can see a little bit here in the corner. That's a little bit of wax that was left, wax residue. So really it lasted at most 4 pressure washes. It started to wear off after the second. The third, there was some left, and then after the fourth, there was no wax left on that mirror. So that really, for me, tests it. Spray waxes do not last 2-3 months unless you're never washing your car. But if you're washing your car regularly, you're gonna get about 2 weeks out of the spray wax, out of a spray wax. Now the nano ceramic, it's been a week. It's still beating extremely well. So I'm thinking that I have actually found a product that is long lasting. I was driving through a rainstorm three days ago, and the water was just beating right off the windshield. I actually drove for about 10 minutes with no wipers, and the water was just beating right off. So nano ceramic, huge plus. It's excellent at repelling water. It gives a fantastic shine. However, if you do have scratches in your clear coat, a lot of nano ceramic waxes are actually going to make those scratches pop out more than they would with a wax. And we see that right here again. This is a scratch that with really good wax didn't show too much. So really a piece of advice, if you're going to use a nano ceramic, you might want to consider, if you don't want those scratches appearing more, popping out, what you could do is actually do a compound, or pay someone to do a compound, because a compound, you're actually making your clear coat, you're polishing it thinner to remove scratches that are in your clear coat. Clear coat is that clear protective coat over your paint. In a way, in a compound, you're kind of buffing or almost ever so slightly sanding down a bit of that clear coat to remove scratches. So I'd almost prefer, unless the car really needs it, it's not something you can do many times in the car's life. You can do it a few times, but you can't do it too often, because you want to make sure you still have clear coat on your car protecting your paint. So in regards to doing a compound, I'm not a huge fan. It's really something I want to avoid. So what can we do to hide those clear coat scratches or swirl marks without having to resort to doing a compound? Well, stay tuned, and I'll be showing that to you with a solution I found. I felt that I need to do a second review and admit that maybe I was wrong. My first test for a spray wax, I actually did 2 coats. So I did the wax job twice. I did a full wax job, applied, buffed it off, and then reapplied, redid that process. Now for the ceramic detail spray, I never did a second coat. I done it in the garage this week. It's a product that can be put on while the vehicle is humid or completely dry. Both times I much prefer to apply it when it is dry. So So in both cases, I have applied it when it's dry. However, today I really felt that I need to do a second coat to be fair to it. And on the second coat, surprisingly enough, while putting the product on thick on my clear coat scratches, it didn't quite do as good of a job as the spray wax that had carnaube wax in it. And I had actually applied on the scratches in the clear coat. I had applied 3 or 4 coats. So I've gone back and done that today. And actually what I found is after my first coat, the vehicle here, I didn't really feel that it was protected because the paint didn't feel very soft. And actually now, after a good second coat that I applied quite thick on my applicator, my microfiber towel applicator, I really added quite a bit. We can see after 2 waxes, I've actually, if you'll come in close here, after 2 waxes I've used a little more than a third of the bottle. And I've actually gone ahead and also done 3 or 4 coverings on the scratches to make a fair comparison with the spray wax, with your traditional spray wax. And I'm really quite satisfied. If you come in close here, you'll see. Now that scratch is quite well hidden. And I actually had quite a bad one down here. And well, that's going to be a scratch that's going to require detailing, and some either compound will be my first test. I'm going to compound just this section. And if a compound doesn't do it, I may have to fill that in with either some clear coat or some paint. But for regular clear coat scratches, if you come to the back of the vehicle, we'll check this out here. The trunk scratch, which originally with no wax at all, this one was horrible. It's about 4 or 5 scratches, several scratches here that you can see. It's now actually, by using this product several times, it's actually filled in quite a bit of that clear coat scratch, and I'm very satisfied with the results. Now, I'd given the spray wax a 9 out of 10 for being able to fill in clear coat scratches and hide them, and I'd say I'd give this an 8 or 8.5. I'm quite pleased, and actually the worst clear coat scratches I have are on my hood. So we'll go check out the hood now. So part of the reason I've used up a lot of the ceramic sealant is that I've actually applied 5 coats on the entire hood. Why? Because the hood is the part of the car that really takes a beating from rain. It's always, absorbing the UV rays from the sun. So I really want to protect it as much as possible. And here I had some really bad scratching right around here. And you can see now that at 3 to 4 feet, they're no longer visible. You really have to get within a foot to really start to see them, and within a few inches to really tell that there's some damage on that clear coat. Now that's a section that ideally, if you have the know-how and the skills, you're gonna put a compound on that. And the compound, you're wearing down, you're rubbing out a bit of your clear coat. So it's risky business. And I don't like to do risky business. I like to keep things simple and safe, or simple stupid as they say. Well, I like to say simple and safe. This is a 10 out of 10 on simple and safe, because around my plastics, like the spray wax I was using, it didn't turn my plastics white, in which case I would have had to have gone back with a white eraser to kind of rub them out and hope that my plastics get cleaned up. It's a pretty good way to do it. But well, that's what I would have had to have done. But this did not leave any white streaking on the plastic, so I'm thrilled. I've used it on my windows, and after only doing 1 coat, I did about an hour of driving through a really bad rainstorm. The roads were filthy. Some of the spring mud, muck, and dirt was splashing on the car, and this product, a ceramic sealant, is fantastic at repelling. It's a product I highly recommend that you do yourself, because some places, detail shops, to do a ceramic sealant job will charge hundreds of dollars, and often that's justified, because often they will spend 5-6 hours compounding your entire car, and then an hour really washing it properly, compounding your car, re-washing your car, drying your car, and then applying a product similar as this. But if you're willing to put in a few hours, of work, and actually quite a bit less if your car doesn't need to be compounded. If your car, or if you don't want to compound, because it is risky business. So if you're just going to be washing your car yourself, of course you want to do a perfect wash, contactless wash, and then go back over with the mitt to make sure you've really removed everything, wash everything off, let your car dry. Applying this is going to take you about 20 to max 30 minutes per coat, and you'll want to do 2 to 3 coats. I hope this will be helpful. Hopefully I've found a way to save you hundreds of dollars, and I hope you get to enjoy your car this summer and it'll be shining like mine is.